just been doing a One Direction
Beautiful
music video. I love the guys.
I love the guys.
You know, great band.
We love the guys.
We love them. And yeah, so some stuff comes through. But
I suppose they, you know, like in the world of music videos, there's going to be a few big budgets knocking around, and that would be a band that would probably have some money to spend on CG.
And for it, you know, for Framestore to pick it up, it does have to have a decent, certain budget. But yeah, what else? I mean, the Kia commercial I worked on a few years back now, actually, with sort of hip hop hamsters driving around in a Kia car. You know, that was great, just because, you know, it's a brilliant idea, and just like really.
I suppose a lot of the directors that come through commercials are on their way to becoming film directors. I don't know if any of the guys you've worked with have then made that step across, or.
Yeah, certainly. Like Dante, who we did quite a bit of work on, he's working on a feature at the moment. A lot of the, you know, it's the top guys that get the opportunity to then cross over into film, and obviously like Rupert Sanders, like
Ridley Scott, even.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was the thing back in the day, and the British scene was they were all
Fincher, I think.
They were all advertising guys.
Yeah. So it's quite. I mean, the perception is that film is a place where you work in post, particularly, that you get more time on a shot and it's more relaxed, perhaps, more money. And in commercials, it's a bit more kind of rock and roll, and to use a turn of phrase, I suppose, but faster, a bit dirtier, maybe. Just get it done and get it out, type of thing. But then you've got the different creative sort of roles, like you're saying. So
well, there's a lot of room for, you know, new projects coming in that just when you're sick of doing, you know, singing hamsters, you'll get to do something where you're exploding a building or what have you. So for me, that suits my temperament. I get bored quite quickly. Yeah. And so it's always great to get on to the next kind of project.
And do you think that sort of commercials environment, is it more innovative because of the type of scripts that come through? Does it help you to sort of push the boundaries of of the technology that you're using as well, or?
I mean, no, I'd say probably film, working in visual effects for film, there's greater scope for deep technical innovation. Right. You know, so Benjamin Button and like realistic CG humans, all of that is, a lot of that work comes from film.
Right, because they've got the time
to
R&D it and stuff.
But at the same time, commercials is, you know, evolving, and it's not just TV anymore, and all sort of new interactive technologies and digital projects. So
right, that's interesting. There's new avenues beyond just the screen.
Yeah, very much so, and that's where commercials are probably sort of ahead of the game. And you know, obviously working within constraints, the largest one being time, right, does occasionally, you know, throw up innovation because you've got to do it. But no, it's if you're happy for things to be a bit, you know, what matters is the end image. Yeah. You know, in commercials there are less prizes for your wonderful methodology of how you got there. Yeah. It's
how
more
tidy your files are at the end of a project.
Yeah, it's inevitably a little bit more messy and cowboy in its approach than film can be. But if the end result looks great, everyone's happy. Yeah,
yeah. Okay. I mean, so obviously, you know, you've worked on some brilliant projects. Have you, ambition-wise, what's your next big thing, as it were?
I mean, I think one thing that's very interesting, and everything is continually evolving, is we are seeing a greater move towards projects where we're asked to do everything. So it's the production, live action shoot, direct it, and so forth. So actually that kind of creation, input into the actual creative process. So for me, that's something that's really interesting. Is the next sort of step is directing stuff. Right. You know,
that's great. Yeah.
And getting involved at that level, and you know, yeah, I think that's really
cool.
That's the next goal.
Excellent. Yeah, that would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I mean, you hear of lots of directors who started as editors, that gives you a really sound basis, doesn't it? And then VFX,
yeah, I think,
especially these days, so many films are using it.
Well, particularly for visual effects heavy production, you can see the logic behind it.
Yeah, definitely. Amazing. So you could be directing the next Bond film, hopefully. Okay, I mean, moving sort of slightly to a different topic. If I was a young, aspiring VFX artist out there at the moment, or not even working as an artist, but had an aspiration to do it, what advice would you give me?
Well, I think it's still a very exciting industry to get involved in, with a lot of prospects. Like so many other industries, it's been hit by the tough economic conditions around the world, but cinema for sure is sort of counter-cyclical, so actually cinema booms in recession times. So there's plenty going on in the world of film. Advertising has been hit hard, but is definitely showing signs of recovery and bouncing back a little bit. So it's a vibrant industry to get involved in. I always say to people who are trying to get in that it's important to put it in context how fast it is evolving, how young it is really. Like there was no CG 30 years ago, or around about then it started. I don't know, Tron is probably like the first.
As we know it,
computer
sort of
graphics.
today.
Tron the first one. You know, I work in the TD side of CGI, so rendering is part of what I do. It's very likely that you could see, you know, you could get to a stage where you would really be considering using real-time rendering for a lot of things that at the moment now we say, oh no, you need a huge render farm and it's going to take an hour a frame to render. So I would, you know, so it's ever evolving, which as someone trying to get into that is a kind of scary thought, but you have to embrace that and realise that it's not going away. There'll be jobs there, and there are lots of different jobs you can get involved in, but don't align yourself too much to learning exactly how to use one bit of software or this bit of software, because it may change. Yeah,
so you've got to be adaptable.
You've got to be adaptable, you've got to try and, as best as you can, obviously you need to learn certain software, but try and learn a bit behind the software, understand what's going on behind the software, you know, because fundamentally a lot of the principles of rendering or what have you that were the first guys were figuring out 20, 30 years ago, they haven't changed, they've been refined. Computers have got faster, but the basic principles haven't changed. Softwares have come and gone.
So don't get too hung up on the tool, but understand the theory. The principles, perhaps.
Because I trained in one software and I still know how to use it. I spend most of my time in another bit of software now. And who knows if that software will come and go, but what won't come and go is your ability, if you're involved in visual side of it, so rendering, your ability to say what looks good and what doesn't, what is real, what doesn't, that can't be taken away from you by changing technology.
See, I know that you're obviously an advocate of photography, having worked in that, and from what you said there, you know, sounds like you're kind of also saying, be kind of, what's the word, you know, have a kind of wide scope of vision in a sense. You know?
Very much, like, you know, if you come to me and say that you want a job as a renderer, if you also say to me, here's a collection of my photos that I've taken. That to me is not like a random thing to show me in an interview. It's like, oh, okay, so he knows how to work a camera. But if I send you on set to get data back from a set, you need to work a camera, you need to understand cameras. It's all relevant, you know. Equally, if you're an animator, then don't just learn how to set some keyframes in Maya, like...
A bit of stop frame on
your own. Stop frame, show me that you're interested in the broader subject of animation.
Okay, that's interesting. That is interesting.
And I think sometimes when I come across students or people getting into it, they expect that there's just a simple answer of how to get into it, and it's not always it's not always so easy. Like you've got to.
I suppose you've got to have some hardcore skills to get your foot in the door, and that's what we try and do here. Obviously, that's what we always say. You know, we want to give people the best grounding we possibly can, but always knowing in our head that things do change. I mean, we change the courses here as quickly and agilely as we can to mirror what's going on out there in your world. So, but I'm also hearing from you, you know, be a well-rounded person, you know, be interested in painting and sculpture and photography, and as an artist, if you're going to be an artist, as it were, you know.
Well, particularly, and not just that, but your ability to work in a team, because it is maybe when you're studying or you're thinking about doing it, it's just you and you're there. The reality of it on the scale of production, of real production, is it's a team effort.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's equally important that you're able to work within that team and see your place within that team and have the right people skills to work within the team.
No, definitely, yeah. I think that's something, again, going, you know, sort of slightly referring back to us, that in the classrooms here, there is that sense of, it's a little bit like being in a mini studio, you know, and apart from learning the actual skills of whichever tool you're learning, the communication skills that you kind of start to develop and understand, even about getting, I think, criticism or feedback on your work, you know, you can't take it too personally perhaps, and you have to show it, don't you? You have to put your sort of soul out there.
Yeah, and we're notorious for, particularly the CG guys, for sitting on it and not sharing and fear it's not finished or not wanting to invite critique at that point, but you have to. That doesn't last long. You have to get it out there, and you better. It's such a slow process to make CG. You better get comment early on. From the process.
Rather than carry on and get it wrong even further down the line. Yeah.
But, you know, I would encourage people to get into it for sure.
Cool. Right, it's been really good to talk to you, and I think we're pretty much out of time, unfortunately. So I think if anyone wants to ask us any further questions, we can email us perhaps, and. You know, we see them a lot actually, and I'm sure that we can sort of get some questions across to him. And equally, I'm very happy to speak to anyone that gets in touch. So I hope you've enjoyed it tonight, and I hope it's been sort of, you know, informative and a bit of an insight into the world of a TD artist in a major post-production company. So thank you very much for coming in, and I hope to see you again.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, Diarmid.